Hello, this is part two of my river piking. We're going to go and fish a chalk stream. My first fish is chalk stream when I was about 12 years old with my parents, and it's done some absolutely huge fish. Sadly not to me, but I've had some really enjoyable times over there. It's a beautiful bit of river, and this is how I go about fishing them. I'll show you a few monster fish that can come from this river later on in the film, and I'll go into depth of one of the rigs I haven't shown you before that can come in very handy, and it's basically, I use the float ledger, and the other rig I use is the paternoster live or the helicopter live on the rivers. These are the two rigs I use. I'll show you how to fish that, and I'll do another video which is how I make that rig. Anyway, I hope you enjoy. Right, cheers. The river I'm on today has done some absolutely huge fish, and I'm talking big 30s, and fingers crossed we'll see a better fish today. It's not the river it used to be, but I got the baits out there straight away. I didn't even get the second rod out and the first rod's gone, and I've hooked into a fish which is actually quite painful because it was quite a good fish. I'm not saying it was what I wanted, but it was up there. I hit it quite quickly and I put my hand over the spool to stop it going into a snag, and the hook's pulled, but it bodes well. But that was certainly a good fish, and it's early doors. I've got my man Jeff with me today, who's very experienced on these rivers. In fact, he's had pike to over 30 pounds from chalk streams, which is something I've never achieved. Well, 30-pound pike from a river is my goal. Want to see that float go?
Yeah, me too, mate. Me too.
How big were the brace of 20s you had out of here?
24 and a half and 23 and a half.
That'll do.
That'll do for a start, won't it?
Yeah.
Here we go. You are on film, and he's got to run. And he's just lifting into it. Contact. Not a big fish, but spirited in the river. Woohoo!
First fish of the day.
Yeah.
Nowhere near that actually. Moan at me about holding a fish like that now. Well, first fish of the day, jack to me. Same rod on a lamprey where I lost the big fish this morning. Big fish is hurting me a little bit because that was a good, much bigger fish. It was close to 20 pound, maybe over. But hey ho, it's early days. We haven't moved yet. We were just thinking of moving, and we've been in this spot for an hour, and then that goes. But I got a live bait down there on the helicopter on my left, and that's kicking away. It's interesting. Totally ignored the live bait and had the dead bait, dead lamprey. We managed to procure some live baits that were left in a net for us down here. This is my new toy. It's not a Dave Lumpy one. This is a P2. This is a new rod.
They worked into another fish. It's nearly as big as his bait.
Another little jack on the dead bait. Get a bit closer because of the sound. Another jack on the dead bait. Out the side.
Very nice.
As I say, this is quite clear today. It used to be a lot clearer when we used to fish it and Jeff had all those big fish. It was tap clear. Now there's a little bit hint of colour, but it's a lot less coloured than our local waters. Yeah, I just thought I saw it twitch up.
I could just see that.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a shame. We thought Jeff had a take. me and Jeff fished a couple of spots this morning, good areas, and I lost a really good fish first thing this morning before I even got the second rod out. That might, it was definitely a big double, maybe a bit more, but basically I hit it quick because there were some reeds there, and yeah, basically hook's pulled, which isn't the end of the world. Hopefully that fish will feed again today, but it's no point staying here all day. I caught 2 fish down there, both small jacks, and I think that was probably the biggest fish in the area, so we started moving now. Now Jeff knows these chalk streams a lot better than me. He's very mobile. Now we'll try and get each swim about an hour until hopefully we find them. At the moment we're on like a backwater, which I've had some fantastic fish out of like 20 years ago, but I always fished it in flood, and today the conditions are a bit stale. Jeff travels really light when he's fishing down the rivers. It's pretty much all the gear he's got. Whereas myself, I like creature comforts, like a chair. Proper river angler, Jeff. I've got a live bait just down there, which I'll adjust in a minute. I'll try and show you that rig. Trouble is I'm fishing today. I might show you the rig basics at home or something. But I've got a live bait down there, and it's on a sunken float with float on the surface for a bite indication. What I might do is set the depth on that so I can actually trot it up into that backwater there. I find actually trotting with this setup is actually quite good, and when it finds bottom, you just leave it there for 15-20 minutes. But where it is now, it's on the drop off there. It's a big famous pool there. Actually, many years ago, the first time I saw a salmon in this pool, I went upstream to fish, and it's the first time I've seen a salmon, and a salmon angler came past me. Mind you, this was a long time ago. I actually told him about the salmon. He looked at me a bit strangely and sort of smiled, disappeared off. He came back 40 minutes later and thanked me and caught it. He'd actually caught the salmon, thanked me for telling me where it was, and went on his way. I was quite tough with that. Yeah, a little bit for a lad. We're going to give it about an hour around here. There was a couple of other pike anglers moving around earlier, and I think they would have covered this area quite well. We're going to jump in the car and fish a different stretch that Jeff knows well, and he right. Proving to be quite a hard day today. We're on about the 5th move. We've moved right up the other end of the fishery, and I'm just trying to find a slack to drop the baits in. You can see this river is absolutely tanking through. Finding little slacks like that. Well, we've got baits out there. We fished hard, we've got in the car, we've covered most of the fishery, and a promising start with me losing a very good fish, then catching 2 fish. But after that initial move, it slowed right up and we haven't managed to locate any more fish. But it's lovely to get down to a chalk stream, do a bit of fishing, and there's always going to be fish over 25 pound in this river, and it's nice to have a bit of company. Sadly, I haven't got round to showing you the rigs and that, but I'll try and cobble something together. So I've got one bait out there with a bluey now, because I managed to lose my lamprey, and I've got a live bait working there, but that's not doing the business. All the fish have come to dead baits today. There's a fair bit of pressure on this water. You can't just pick and choose your swims like you used to be able to, which is a shame, but that's life. Still chance. I think we just decided to give up moving around. We've put our baits out there, we're putting a big scent trail down. Hopefully we get something as the light fades, but I don't think it's going to happen. Right, there's my rig. I was just fishing a live bait there, which is gone, and I have a pike in a net. which I'm going to sort out in a minute. Live baits, I used to do a lot more of this, but it still catch a lot of fish, and to be fair, I have had my personal best fish from a river on a live bait. It's a bit hard to get hold of, a bit hard to catch. I was younger, I was keener. I think one of the best things you can do is catch your live baits, go down with a whip, just catch your live baits, and if you've got a net, tie it up to a tree, leave them down there, come down the next day if you really feel you need them. That works for me. Right. I'm going to go through this rig in detail a bit later, but I'm fishing a live bait under a float there. You can see the orange float. I've got a sunken float underneath it, so I don't have to worry too much about the depth. And that's going down to a 0.6, 0.8 fluorocarbon to my net, and there's a pike in there. Not huge fish, but it's out of a quite chuffed actually, because I haven't had a pike on a live bait for a little while, and I was just about to move when that went. It's quite surprising, like you can have a dead bait in a spot for an hour or two, and I moved the dead bait and I moved the live bait into that spot, and it went within 5 minutes. But there's a pike in there. When I catch a fish, I always give it a rest. There's no urgency to get it on a bank. Just leave it in the water for a few minutes, have a rest, and I'll get the hooks out of that, and then we'll have a look at this rig before I put it back out, because that rig's caught me hundreds of fish. I used to have all sorts of problems with the paternoster until I came up with this, and it doesn't tangle, it doesn't let me down, catches fish, it's very versatile. Right, let's try and look at this rig. Right, this end, you've got the ET Nod float, you've got an ET sunken float there. Don't even think about using these clear plastic ones, they'll last you 5 minutes. That's made of foam. I've got two different sizes. That's what keeps your bait up. Then you've got your fluorocarbon up trace. I used to use titanium till it let me down. I'll not use it again. I checked these fluorocarbon traces. This is a up trace, not a bait trace. And so far I've not even found a tooth mark in it. I've been using it for 5 years. That's the business end of this. You've got a helicopter with a bead, another bead, power gum stop knot, and we've got a lighter fluorocarbon leader down to the lead. This trace, I've only got one treble in there because I'm using a small bait. Now the only thing that's a bit different, I've never seen anyone else do with this, is the way I've attached that. I'm not sure if I can show you. What I'm going to do is I'll do a video of how to make this rig. Takes seconds. You could make it on the bank, prefer to make them at home. Now that's got a quick change swivel on it, which I'll try and show you. Hopefully you can see that. So when you put the rubber down over it, it kicks it out. That's bulletproof rig. When I show you how to make this, I put a bead above the knot, because that lower helicopter will take the impact, will take the pressure of the pike. I wouldn't, titanium, single strand titanium, if you're happy with that, use it. I had a bit of misfortune with it. This is a bulletproof rig. You can trot this rig, you can fish it from you can do anything with it. Anyway, I'm going to get back to doing some fishing now. The other rig's just a straightforward ledger I normally use. Yeah, that was a nice little pike actually. This is what I was using on the chalk stream. I didn't really have time to show it. But I will do another video on how to make this, and that'll be linked in the description. Live bait in front of that float, and it's going all over the shop. It's not been taken. I think something's worrying it. Maybe a salmon. That's the old sunken float with a float on top. About 1.5 ounces of lead. I just trot it down, there's like still a bit of weed here, and it finds the bottom and give it a pull. That's definitely something annoying, that. Try twitching it.
No, that was something.
Oh, it's jeffs into a fish. Are you?
Yeah.
Well done.
And she's not bad.
Oh, Jeff could be into a good fish. This is just what we needed for the video, actually. Shame it wasn't on my rod. Oh yeah, a bit of last light footage. In a minute we'll give you a demonstration on how. Oh, I can see your bait. Oh no! Oh no! Oh dear!
Disaster!
How big was that? Was that a good fish? It was,
I think that was a double.
oh dear! Never mind. Jeff's just lost a fish on an eel. I've noticed an eel. If there was a bait you could lose fish on,
It's an eel section.
it's an eel section. Eel is a fantastic bait, but you will lose fish on it.
Oh dear.
Right, it's 4:30 now, and the lazy buggers haven't moved for a while. But as we just seen, Jeff just lost quite a decent fish. I've just had a take on a live bait, and it's going ballistic over there. It could just be a jack sniffing around. But as it's getting dark, we've been here for how long do you reckon we've been in this swim, Jeff? A couple of hours?
We came here about 2:30.
Did we? So we've been in here, yeah, good few hours.
A couple of hours, haven't we?
And it's quite clear here, the water, very streamy. There's plenty of weed in front of us, but now the light levels are dropping off. They seem to be feeding.
The next hour, anything could happen.
Anything could happen. A live baits could be taken by a £30 pike.
Bird line? Anything could happen in the next half hour.
We worked hard this morning, and how many swims have we done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably done about 8 or 9 swims today and got in the car once. I've also managed to walk to the fishing tackle shop and procure myself some dead baits for Chew Valley, which is happening for me in a couple of weeks. I haven't done that for a little while, but I got a boat booked on my birthday, which could be entertaining. Back in the postal days when Chew opened, they always used to give me February the 7th, my birthday, and I've had some fantastic times down there. Nowadays it's a little bit different. There's a lot of competition to get days, and it's very expensive, but there are a lot of very large fish in there. My friend Alan Stagg had a few 30s last year to 37, hence I got myself another ticket. And you only need one take on a water like that, and I managed to procure myself the first 2 days in October and my birthday in a couple of weeks. Fishing a water like that, you don't want to leave anything to chance. I mean, it's too much money, so you need your baits to be absolutely spot on, and I've got a plan that hopefully will succeed. All I want is personal best. I want something over £35, at least one, maybe a 30 in there. Let's have a look at it.
So maybe about it.
I want my bait back.
That's 30 all day long.
My birthday 30, £31 5 ounces, not quite PB. Right, in the video, going back.
Yeah.
Not as big as that one. Look how fat that is.
Massively fat. I thought that was 35 plus.
I know they don't count compared to river fish, but they're very, very nice looking fish, and I know some people dismiss them, but they're not the easiest fish in the world, and I am very happy to catch one. Is that your personal best, 31?
Yeah.
How many ounces was it?
I was shaking that much.
Now this is very tricky, this is a very important question.
I would say 2 or 3 ounces, but I was shaking that much. That's why I said it was 31.
Well, my personal best was £31 12 ounces. I remember Alan Stagg grinning like he's looking at me, just grinning and showing me the scales, but he actually forgot I can't see anything. So I couldn't see anything, and it wasn't until he told me, and then all of a sudden it dropped. It was a short fat fish, and hopefully I'll catch another one of them soon. They don't count from trout waters, apparently.
I was going to say, yeah.
I'd swap
How
up
many bonus points do I get for a river 31?
quite a lot, to be honest. Not many people have had a river 30. In fact, that was in pike fishing. I think that is the the ultimate accolade. Oh dear!
I told you I couldn't see.
Oh, he got it back. Why is it when I put a bait in a tree, I don't get it back? I think we've missed the boat today, but it's beautiful down here this time of night. Owls and that. We will be back down here. We were having a discussion about, we both love this water, and yeah, done some huge fish. I think February could be a good area to come down here, but there's plenty of river here. There's miles and miles of it, and maybe we should yeah, maybe we should do a bit more fishing, a bit more exploring. Season's drawing to an end now, really. That was a bleep. Jeff's got something.
Bleepitis.
Bleep. Right, hope you enjoyed that little video on the chalk streams. Yeah, we don't take our fishing too seriously, but we have a lot of fun when we're doing it. I hope there was some half decent tips there. Yeah, chalk streams are absolutely fantastic. I've fished them for years, and luckily I've been given a few photographs which I'll show you of some bigger fish that can be caught. Sadly not by me, because I've done okay on chalk streams, but I fish them when the big ones are there, but I've never connected. But a lot of good friends of mine I met at Harding in the 80s has succeeded where I failed. Anyway, do think about subscribing. The next video probably be in October. Well, the next pike video be in October. That's going to be tidal rivers. And they're my favourite type of water. It's worth subscribing to watch. It's going to take me a while to put it together. But summer's coming, and do a bit of fly fishing, a lot of sea fishing. I failed miserably trying to get a double-figured bass last year, but I got hundreds of bass up to just under £8. I'll be trying again to get that double-figure bass on a lure. I think baits possibly are the way to go for the bigger ones. I'm going to try and catch a 30-pound carp on the fly. This will all be videoed, hopefully, touch wood. And yeah, I always plug the magazine Catch Cult. This one was out the other day. This may have even sold out by now, but if you're a predator wrangler, absolutely must read. 5 predator articles in this one, 18 pound zander, Steve Pitt's article on eels, you've got Langdiford, you've got it all. This is an absolutely brilliant read. Another one, do think about, if you're into your pike, if you're starting out on pike fishing, do have a think about joining the PAC, because to be frank, that magazine Pikelines, I haven't got round to reading that. It's worth it. The membership is worth it for that alone. If you've got a region near you, it's an absolute no-brainer. With the summer coming in the sea fishing, I've managed to blag printing another magazine, the Hook Point magazine, which yeah, is absolutely epic. It's early days, I haven't even printed it yet, but yeah, that's another magazine. We really want to try and get away from internet forums and that, and get back to the printed matter. There's nothing better than sitting on the bank reading a magazine. Tips and that you pick up on the internet can be a bit misleading. A lot of the people who are giving you advice have probably done hundreds of posts but caught very little. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and yeah, some big fish coming up. Cheers.